Good morning. Happy Monday. Naima Singletary here with the power to lead. And today I'm going to do more of a, because this week is all about wealth consciousness for Melanin Messengers. And I get a sense because of the nature of the topics and because of the marketing that I'm going to be doing. And because this one, Stop Rejecting White Money, which is today's topic, it's gonna bring in some new people, and I want those new people to have some understanding of my background and who I am. Oh, my hands need some cream on them. So for those of you who are here with me and you know the spiel and who I am and what I'm about, be patient because I'm going to be maybe even for the rest of the week, but definitely today, but for the rest of the week sharing so people have an idea of who I am, okay, and how I've come to this wisdom that I now hold. So I am the spiritual business advisor. I am here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Paris time. And my intention here is, so my larger vision, God has the whole thing, right? No matter what I say. But as far as I know it, I'm really here to serve. Here's the simplified, right? To restore the power that is woman, okay? To restore the power that is woman. Now, see, what does that mean? Restore the, so what I and every other successful coach, healer, business owner, entrepreneur who's spiritually gifted, who's other, what we have to do, not have to, but what we choose to do to help viewers to be able to take it in and dissect it. Because if I were to just mark it and say, I'm here to restore the power that is woman, that would gloss over people's heads and nobody would catch that. So, and what I do is I chunk it and label it and name it in a way that people can react to it and decide if it's for them or if it's not for them. So even though I say, I'm here to serve Melanin Messengers and I am here to restore the power that is woman, I'm here to help us step into our financial power. It's so much bigger than all that. But the people have a hard time really taking in and taking action on the esoteric, on the universal, on the infinite, on the expanse, right? It's like, gosh, right? And it's so up there for most people. So TD Jakes often says the job of the teacher is to take the higher intelligence, and I don't want to say reduce it, but to basically language it in a way where the people can grab onto it, okay? So, that was a whole long old explanation to say that I'm here I'm here to really change things in a paradigm way here on planet Earth. So since 2011, how about that? Since 2011, I've been in the transformation space and have really been in the entrepreneurial space for a decade. I'll say 2007, ish. And came into the transformation space before I even knew it was a transformation space in 2011, and struggled. That's the typical. That's normal. Or most of us are plagued with scarcity consciousness, and one thing you'll hear me talking about this week is how much it really has to be in your spirit and your heart to have a true desire for stepping into bigger numbers. So I'll talk about that. But I had it in my heart to really step into bigger numbers. Like, I've always knew I was made for more. Like, I always knew I have come from something great, even if my outer world didn't reflect that. So after a lot of frustration and just working exhaustively hard for very little return and wondering, like, how can I be so competent, so willing, so hardworking, so smart, so like knowing that I'm made for more, but I'm struggling, like, right? And then after just working my fucking face off, it was like, no. And so I started praying seriously, not like those obligatory prayers. Like, I started praying for real, like, God, what's going on? And that was in, toward the end of 2012, 2013. And I went into a really deep depression. And I've talked about this countless times on different shows I've had over the years. And I went into a really deep depression in 2013. And I hit a place in me that I don't think most people hit in their lives, first of all. And that place where it's everything and nothing, where it's not of the linear mind. There's no right or wrong. There's no, it's like the bottom of the universe is like the black hole. The whole universe, world, planets are governed by black holes. I'm not going to even go into astronomy right now, but black holes govern this shit, okay? And they contain everything, and they're so indomitable. They're so gravitous that scientists can't even study them. What they can study is study what's around them. I love this. Oh, because the analogy of it as it relates to powerful people, us as Melanin Messengers. So this is a fact. You can go study black holes. And so I touched that place. And I told God, I said, there were two agreements that I made with God. One, I am not going to be here on planet Earth unless I'm doing the work I was made for. That was I'm not fucking doing it. Literally, I want to die. I don't want to be here if I'm not doing the work I was born to do. That was one deal. And then two, I must be rich. I must be. Because I know that it takes a lot of money to get shit done. A lot. To really do the things that are in your heart, really in your heart. Not the things that you think you can do or you're going to try to do or, kind of seems like something that, somebody else did and you can do something similar. No. I mean the things that are in your heart that the world has never seen, that you have seen in visions, that, right? Those things cost a lot of money. And I knew that if I was going to be doing the work I was born for, a lot of money was required. So, and then I surrendered, and I knew I had went into another dimension when people started contacting me, asking me if I was okay. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was fucking nuts. And I knew I had tilted into another dimension. And so I was really isolated from the world. I was not showering for 3-4 days at a time. I was in a cocoon beyond a cocoon. I was somewhere else. And it was one of the best things that happened to me. And so the reemergence was God, because it was just God, if I knew what to do by this point, as smart and competent and hardworking and all that as I am, if I have not figured this out by now, obviously I don't know what I'm doing. And so I surrendered. And it was December of 2013 where this information came in and I was instructed to do a certain thing and I took action on that. And that took me back out into the world, serving. And my new brand of Heal Sex Shame was born. And I made my first 100,000 helping women heal sexual trauma. And then, as evolution has it, if you're really growing, you always are changing. And so then I was ready for more. How do I serve greater? What's next for me? And Opulent Living was born, and I started making a lot of money very fast. I mean, fucking $100,000 in a month, fucking, consistent $30,000 months. It just was. And I'm not saying it happened within a year. I'm just saying that first year was $100,000. And then after, when I really allowed myself to follow the inside voice, the shit just fucking, when prior to that, I was struggling to pay rent. And I've changed a lot. I was on the phone with the Melanin Messenger. This is, oh my God, I feel like I'm like, fireside story chat. So let me bring this around to not being afraid of white money. So disclaimer here, I've never been afraid of white money. Disclaimer, I've never been afraid of white money. What it was put on me, in me by spirit, was to really start to intentionally and actively talk to Melanin Messengers. Black, gifted folks who are descendants of the ruling class, they don't know it yet. Some do, some don't. That they are born to serve greatly and to be rich financially and otherwise. Now, this is not something I would have chosen myself because of my brain has a lot of limiting beliefs around what Black people are ready for, what Black people will do, blah, 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 blah. And God put it in my spirit that it's all there and it's all in my mind. Go, you're endowed, blah, blah, okay? So that's a whole other private conversation. And so I've been researching and I've been talking with Melanin Messengers, quite a few actually. And I was informed that this is the thing. And like once I make a decision about something, I doggedly, right? So I've been talking to a lot of Melanin Messengers, particularly in the last 30 days. And this has been a theme. I'm really just amazed. I'm just, so I know what it is and I know the solution, and that's what I'm here to talk about. So here's what it looks like based on how it's been transmitted to me. There are Melanin Messengers who are powerful. Any person who meets them and sits in their presence would call them powerful. They're out there serving in the way that they're currently serving. White people come to them for their services. Maybe in large numbers, right? So it could be a few white people up to many white people. And the Melanin Messenger will put color into the equation, questioning how the white person sees her or him. Do I really have what it takes to serve this person? And what's behind this thinking, and there's more to it, but I want to say something about this. What's behind this thinking is that, one, there's an inferiority complex, and actually it's a double-edged sword. One, an inferiority complex, like a white person coming to me, I'm Black, they're white, they're like, right? And then the flip side to that is that they're actually so powerful. Oh my God, look at what this says, that I have the capacity to serve a broader audience. It's a double-edged sword, I know. So then what you have is, one, you just don't get anywhere broader, right? You're a Melanin Messenger. Your job is to serve broadly, globally, expansively. Like you're meant to rule, literally meant to rule. And not in patriarchal conquering ruling, right? That's where we get, got the mindfuck going on. I mean, you're meant to take what you have and disseminate it into the world and to have all resources lined up for you to do what's required for you to do, what you were born to do. You're born for that. Now, as I talked about last week, that is cognitive dissonance because of the culture, all cultures really. Where do we see Black kings and queens ruling millions and billions of dollars, that are publicly powerful, that are governing things, that have, global impact and staff, and right, where they are globally revered, and right, where do you see that? Right? And I'm not talking about within existing systems of government. I'm not talking about within existing systems of what, I'm talking about those who are bringing signature work to the world. signature message, signature work. Like, this is an anomaly. This is an anomalic, I just made that up. This is an anomalic state. This is an anomalic reality. Like, this is new for consciousness, for current consciousness. This is a new vision. This is a new reality. Like, and so to have this kind of duality where, one, I'm so powerful, I serve broadly, I attract awe, and then on the flip side to that, to have this inferiority complex right? So you can see the low mind and the high mind at war. Like, that's the cognitive dissonance right there, right? The inferiority and the I'm so powerful. That's that tango I was talking about last week. I'm a king, but what will people think? I know, but right? I'm powerful, but what about this? I don't know why that makes me laugh every time, but it does. So, and then on Monday's show last week, the one I accidentally deleted, but I'll be redoing this Friday, and the title is Activating Suppressed Joy for Supernatural Growth. I'll be doing that on Friday. But last Monday I did that, and there was a Black woman in the comments, lo and behold, because I talked about this just a bit. I talked about this last Monday about this fear of white money. This fear of white money, and she was like, oh my God, that's me. And I was talking with another fellow seven-figure messenger who doesn't struggle with that, and she was blown away by it too. It is a thing. And so, first of all, that's what it looks like, the duality of being powerful and having the inferiority complex. And what that comes back down to, it's a thread of truth that will always be there. And I talked about this on Friday. You must know who you are. You must know who you are. You must know who you are. The world out there cannot bring you to who you are. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. Most of us don't know. When I say us, I mean Black people. So Black people at large, right? And then when you reduce that to melanin messengers, there's a lot of the tango going on. There's a lot of isolation going on. Isolation and terror, and because of this culture we live in and what we've inherited too. Remember what I talked about on Friday? We've inherited all that. So we walk around with corrupted psyches. That's one of the areas that we're going to deep dive into in my royalty program. A corrupted psyche and how to correct a corrupted psyche. And that's the whole human of the person, that soul, the mind, the feelings, corrupted. I know, personally know, and I'm not even saying it's just us two. I personally know one other Black person, Melanin Messenger, master. I've talked about him on the show, the one who I went to see in LA, and I'm not going to go back into that, but he and I'm sure there are others, there must be. I imagine there must be, who knows who we really are. Who we really are. Who we really are. And when I think about who we really are and how so many of us show up, we are so far removed from it. Who we are is here, and how we're showing up is way over there. Way, way over there. And what I'm looking for is those of you who want fierce, fast change. Fierce, fast change. You probably heard this before, but you don't really know it until you live it. The universe responds to your demands, literally. It's like this. First time I wanted to make $50,000 in a month. This was 2015. Yep. It was the beginning of winter, 2015. I wanted to make $50,000 in a month. And I'd never done that, obviously. And what happened? So prior to that, I'd do the tango when I'd make financial goals. I'd be like, okay, I want to do $20,000 this month, or 15, or whatever the number is. And then a week or two would go by, and if it just didn't seem like it was coming in, or maybe I was like, I don't know, overwhelmed or frustrated, I'd be like, well, maybe I'm asking for too much, or maybe now's not the time. Like all the petty, low wealth consciousness crap, which we're going to be going into this week and really transforming for those of you who come with me into royalty. And so I would give it up. And I did that for like that was 2015. So I had already been doing that for like 3 years. The whole set a goal, if it starts to feel too overwhelming, oh, never mind. All right. And because I was so familiar with that pattern, I was like, I'm not fucking doing that anymore. No, it's not happening. And I'm gonna go back to this, where are we on time? Okay, we gotta try to keep it under 30 minutes. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So I remember I was like a month into this desire for $50,000 in a month in, and it wasn't happening. And I was like, the thoughts came, the same thoughts came. Maybe I'm asking for too much, 50,000. You never even did 50,000. Like, what makes you think you've never even done 25,000? What makes you think you're gonna just leap into 50,000? Like, all the low. This is work, you guys. Nobody gets to consistent $50,000 a month without working. And I'm not talking about like marketing and working out there. I mean like in here, because this is where it all happens. You go up or go down in here. So I remember the thoughts came, and I was like, you gonna stop and give it up, or you gonna keep going? I was like, you keeping going, because I was so, like, I was ready to break through to my next financial level. I was already up at around 10,000, and I was like, you know, people think that, 10,000 is the magic number. When you're really on the growth track, whenever you hit goals, it's always a next. It's always a next, okay? So I was like, next, huh? And so I was like, you're going to keep going. So I kept going. 2 months in, I still haven't hit 50,000. 2 months in. 2 months in. When normally I would give up after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. 2 months in. And I was like, no. At this point, I'm like, where is my 50? Where is my 50,000? Where is my 50,000? Still working with clients. Where is my 50,000? I was dogged. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? See, and this is where, like, when I say stepping into power with money, this is what I'm talking about. Stepping in. This is mine now. It's not like the universe. Listen, the universe is not passive. It is actively hostile. And you command it, or it will command you. You are made in the image of its likeness. So, where is my 50,000? Where is my 50,000? Now, this is it now, because I'm not going back. We're going forward, okay? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? 3 months in, still ain't there. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? I'm sharing this to say that, before I finish the story, this is why I'm sharing this. To get us this is who we are, and I say we're way over there, way over there, way over there, or wherever. The fierce, fast change is going to come from enough of us putting the goddamn anchor down and saying, this is who we are and this is where we're going. This is where we're going. for whatever the vision is, right? What's your vision? To have a chain of birthing studios because you hate the birthing system in America where so many women die. Babies come out of these dark wombs under these bright ass lights. There's not the level of care you think there should be, and you have it in your heart and in your whole spirit to birth a global chain of birthing studios. Yeah, you're gonna need some millions for that. Multiple millions, right? Is it in your heart to revolutionize the school system? And you have the perfect design for a school system that's gonna have children who are gifted and who are like 5 years old up to, 15, have their brains served in a way where they can be better humans, right? Is it in your DNA to come and revolutionize cancer or what, right? Millions are required. Where are you as the Melanin Messenger going to come, put the goddamn and say, I was born to rule? Who? The fast, fierce change. Fast, fierce change. Because the universe bends when you command. So here we are, 3 months in. Where is my 50,000? Like, we're going nowhere until my 50,000 shows up. Like, this is the spirit of commanding. This is the spirit of stepping to your power with money. So I'm coming up to the end of a contract with a client who had paid $10,000 to work with me, and we were coming up to the end of her deal. And she had gotten amazing results. She had been telling me for weeks and weeks and weeks, Naima, I've been loving working with you, all the good stuff. And I was thinking to myself, we also saw the areas where she was looking at growing, where she was like inside of it, she was discovering new things that she wanted to transform and heal and all that. And this is still at the time I was working with women healing sexual trauma, okay? So I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm coming to the end of this with her. I would love for us to continue, right? What would it look like? And in this time, I'm continuously doing the wealth consciousness that I teach inside of my royalty program. I'm deep in it. I'm deep doing all the daily practices, the lifestyle pieces. Like, I'm doing it all because I'm just like, I'm getting out of this. I am revolutionizing my relationship with money. So my mind has been expanded, like beyond anything it's ever been. So the question I ask myself is, if I were to work with this woman with no limits, or continue working with this woman with no limits, what would it look like? That was the question I asked myself. And if I didn't have any limits on, oh, that's too expensive, she's not gonna pay for that. Or if I didn't have any limits on, no limits on like, well, she lives here and I live there, how's that gonna happen? Like all the crap that goes on up here where we cut our own legs off. So I had done enough work inside to be able to come to that place and write it out. So I wrote it out, what it would look like, baby. And I felt, I love this. I think it'd be great to have a meme, black and rich and powerful. That's how I felt when I wrote it down. Black and rich and powerful. Okay, we're already at 28 minutes, 28 and a half. So I wrote it all down. We were going to have a VIP day every quarter. And we were going to have this many calls. And we were going to have this. And it was going to be like that. And it was, like, I was so excited about what I had put on that paper. And that's how you got to feel about what you're serving. Like, and this is what we go into in your royalty program. What is your signature work? What is the thing that you're just like, shit, I would do this shit for free if I didn't have to pay rent. If I didn't have to pay for all this other, I would do this for free. Like, we got to get down into that, and then you be able to give that to the world in a way that just, when you talk about it, you can't help but smile, right? You talk about it, people just feel it coming up off of you, that it's in your blood, right? Because it's so signature. So that's what happened. I was delighted about this, what I put together. So here she and I are on one of her calls. The call finishes, and I say to her, let's say her name is Lisa, right? So Lisa, I've enjoyed working with you, right? I would love to have a conversation about what it would look like for us to continue working together. She's like, Naima, I would love it. You're reading my mind. I was thinking the same thing. She actually said that. I was thinking the same thing. I've gotten so much transformation. Even my husband said that this, and that, and da, right? So I said to her, I laid it out there. Everything I wrote on that paper, I laid it out to her. So we would have a VIP day every quarter, and we had this many calls, and and I was so excited. And this was a year. Like, her original package with me was 6 months. This new one, this expanded one, was for a whole year, right? And I was like, and remember, my goal was 50,000. But when I tallied up everything on that paper about what it would look like, she and I working together with no limits, the total was $65,000. $65,000. Right? Remember, I've never done 50. I don't even know if I'd done 20 at that time. Definitely not 25. I know that, right? So wait a minute, you going from 20 or 15,000 to 65? Yup. See, the brain, that's how the brain fucks you. It thinks somehow you have to go sequentially, like, oh, 10, then the next is 15, then the next is 20. No, baby, it's called quantum leap. Okay? So I said, this is what it would be, blah, blah, blah. And the total investment is 65,000. Without a bleep of a hesitation or a pause, she was like, okay. That woman paid 35,000 or whatever half is. She paid it right then and there and paid the balance the next day. I went from 10, I knew my consistent revenue, well, not consistent, it was like anywhere between 8 and 12. Like, that was my consistent at the time, right? I went from that to blowing my mind at 65,000. You bend the universe by commanding it. Now, it took 4 months to get there, but had I given up after 2-3 weeks, it would have never happened. I would have stayed right where I was financially. This is what we have the power to do as Melanin Messengers, and because we're a spiritual people by nature. And this is the one side of that sword, right? There's the inferiority complex, but the other side is, when I really step into this power, man, the responsibility is going to be huge. The attacks are going to come. Shit out of no fucking where is going to start coming. You guys, I put together, okay, I got to wrap up now. I could really go on and on. This is how much I love this. This is how deep this is deep. Like, this is just the video. The royalty program is where it's at. My year-long royalty program is where it's at. It's where and it's really for those of you who are true Melanin Messengers, really here to birth your work, really want to be in this environment, first of all, of safety, right? Like, it's hard out here. It's hard, and we are spiritual beings, and it's like spiritual warfare all over the goddamn place. Melanin oh gosh, I feel like I want to have another conversation. Like, this is public. I feel like I want to have a conversation just for us behind closed doors, for us to really get down into this shit and really call forth the same way Harriet Tubman called forth for the Underground Railroad. You need to go research Harriet Tubman and the spiritual nature that really guided the journeys that she took in freeing enslaved people. Like, it was totally spiritual. It was, everything she did was like, on a logical level, it was dangerous. It was like, that's foolish. It was, right? And it's the same with us. Like, it's like, on the outside, it looks like, what? Like, you got black folks who are like, you remember Black Wall Street, and just totally fear-driven and, you know, really committed to low vibration, really committed to the struggle. And for you as a Melanin Messenger to then show up and put a goddamn stake in the ground and to show up and command, that alone is bending the universe. Do you know how much that is bending things? Do you know how much? Like, that's why the world is hurt. That is such a huge part of why the world is hurting. We are descendants of you cannot take a natural thing and corrupt it and not think that there's not going to be poison and hardship and everything hurts when this is out of alignment, when you don't have the it's out of order. It's out of order. When you take and you corrupt a naturally spiritual thing, you break the whole order of everything in that, earth, in that, what's the word, right? When you break the spiritual thing that makes it all work, you corrupt the whole system. Africa has been raped repeatedly, and we continue to forgive and to dance and sing and to give. Like, we're a naturally spiritual, benevolent people. Naturally, we are. We live in a country that has oppression like wired in, it's baked in, like divisiveness and oppression and all the isms and baked in. And like every day we navigate our jobs and our neighborhoods and everything, and it's all a reflection of the unequal systems in the world, and yet Black people still live here without causing a ruckus. Like, do you get that? Like, so this is righting what's wrong. You coming into the royalty program, you being a Melanin, even if you don't come into the royalty program, but you find the way or the community that has you put a damn fork in the ground and erect and really come forth as a melanin messenger, knowing you're born to rule and to be rich and serve greatly. And enough of us in the numbers that really gets in there and focuses and really harnesses our spiritual, like, we got that. Now it's time for us to know that and use it on purpose to call in the money and all that. There's so much more to say about white money. First of all, let's put the money part aside. We have things that they naturally don't have. Naturally. This is not my opinion. This is fact. This is law. So when they come to you, consciously or subconsciously, they know that you have something that they don't have. They want to learn from you. They want to connect with you. And it's your job to price and allow yourself to receive money from them and to serve them in the way that you choose to, in the way that you're made to, okay? I might need to do a part 2 because look at this. I'm at 37 minutes and there's so much more to say. So you guys, I'm loaded with content. I am clearly a descendant of the ruling class. Like this, what I'm talking about right now, this alone could be a weekend workshop. Stop rejecting white money. Oh, and another part I missed is that 99.9% of the 7 figures that I've accumulated over the last few years has come from white women. It's because I was raised, race was never an issue, right? And I find, particularly with Black women who were raised in pro-Black communities or predominantly Black communities, or the South, and that it's most of them who have the issue with receiving and serving white people. So that's a cultural thing, but still it's a conditioning. It's an incorrect conditioning, okay? So I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go. Lots of love. Please share this. It's been valuable, right? I mean, I've really enjoyed sharing it. So I would love if you shared it. And I will be back here tomorrow with the next topic, which if you have not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe and you can see